Imagine a student who does everything right, qualifies NEET, picks a well-known university abroad, studies for 6 years, clears every exam, and then comes home and finds out that they may not even be eligible to sit in for Indian licensing exam. Not because of their marks, not because of the university's ranking, but because of one single rule. Inside the NMC's FMGL Regulations of 2021, which no agent or consultant explains properly. Here is the uncomfortable part. This rule is quietly affecting degrees from some of the most popular countries out there, including Georgia and parts of Russia. Today, I'll explain this rule in plain language in Georgia and few CIS countries. Today, I'll explain you so you never fall into this, what I call this, the licensing trap. Hi, I am Sri Rohit. Welcome to Neo Mentora. Quick and important disclaimer. This is not a video saying your country is bad. Georgia and many other CIS countries have genuinely good universities and thousands of successful stories and doctors. This is a video about one rule and how to make sure it never traps you. So let's start with this rule. Most students who plan to study MBBS abroad know about the basic conditions. 54 months of study, a 12 months of internship at the same university, English medium of instruction, NEET qualification. We have covered all those in detail in many other videos. But there is one more condition, and this is the one that catches people's off guard. The FMGL Regulations of 2021 say that your foreign degree must make you eligible to be registered and to practice medicine in the country where you studied, at par with that country's own citizens. Read that slowly once again. Your degree from that country must give you the same right to practice that a local doctor from the same country would get. If a local graduate needs an extra steps to practice independently, then you need them too. Your degree must clear the same bar theirs does. So why does this rule even exist? Because the NMC's logic is simple. If a degree isn't considered good enough to let you practice in the very country that issued it, why should India accept it? It's a fair question, and it's now the law. So here is where it gets more interesting. Different countries give their medical graduates different levels of practicing rights. And that is exactly where the grey area begins. Let's take Russia first. In Russia, after the 6-year degree, a graduate can generally practice as a general practitioner. To become a specialist, they go through further residency. What they call is ordinatura. But the point is, there is a recognized pathway to a practicing status after the basic degree. Now, let's look at Georgia. And I want you to be very careful and very factual here. In Georgia, after the 6 years MD program and the internship, graduates are generally qualified to work as junior doctors under the supervision. To practice independently, Georgian law generally requires additional years of residency and further examinations. Now think about what that means. You spend 6 years, you spend 30 to 40 lakh rupees, you get an MD degree, and at the end of it, and in the country that you trained you're still not trusted to treat a patient of their own. You need years more just to reach the starting line of a local doctor reaches within the same degree. This is not a small footnote. This is the whole game. This is, in my opinion, back in August 2024, the Georgian embassy itself communicated details about how their system works. That the MD qualification allows supervised clinical work with independent practice requiring further steps. Now, many parents will say, but we know students from Georgia who are practicing right now, doing internships, getting registered, working as doctors in India. That is true. But here is the detail that changes everything. Almost all of those graduates went to Georgia before November 2021, before the FMGL regulations even existed. They studied under the old rules, so the new licensing condition does not apply to them. The students who enrolled after the regulations came in, their very batches are only now completing their degrees, which means the real test, the first batch that this rule will actually be applied to, arrives next year, which is 2027. So when someone shows you a Georgia success story today, ask them one single question: when did the student actually join? Because a success story from the old rules tell you nothing about the new ones. So here is the honest question that creates the gray area. If the basic Georgian degree only tells you to work under supervision and independent practice needs years more, does the degree by itself meet the NMC's condition at par with the local citizens' condition? That is the exact question families need to be asking right now. The issue is not the quality of the education, the issue is what the degree legally entitles you to do in that country. Now, why doesn't anyone warn students about this? Because this rule is technical, it's buried in gazette, it's written in legal language. A parent cannot be expected to understand the licensing law of a foreign country. So, families rely on consultants and agents. And here is the problem. Some agents genuinely don't know this rule, and some do know, but they stay quiet because a full flight means a full commission. So let me give you the one question that cuts through all of it. After the exact degree, can I get an independent license to practice in that country, the same as the local citizen, without an extra residency? If they hesitate, if they change the subject, if they say don't worry about it, that hesitation is your answer. So how do you protect yourself? 3 things. Number 1, get it in writing. Ask the university itself, not the agent, whether the degree grants licensing eligibility in that country on par with local graduates on official letterhead. Number 2, verify with the source of truth. The Indian embassy in that country can clarify the local licensing rules. Embassy advisories are far more reliable rather than a brochure. Number 3, wait for clarity before you commit blindly, and this is very important. A lot is still evolving here. The next exam is expected to gradually change how foreign graduates are assessed, like how the licensing rules are enforced. Country by country will become much clearer as we move through 2027. And here is the key point. Why does 2027 matter so much? Because that is when the first students, the ones who joined after this 2021 FMGL regulations, have come into existing. They will finish their degree and come back to India. They will be the first ones this license rule is actually tested on. Until now, nobody has been tested on it. That is why there is still so much confusion. Nobody can show you a clear finished example yet, because that example doesn't exist until 2027. So my honest advice is this: if you are choosing a country right now, don't go by what worked 5 years back. Go by what the rules say today. Get written confirmation from the university, and if something is unclear, wait for clarity before you spend 30 lakh rupees on it. So if you're deciding right now, do not depend on assumptions, depend on written confirmation. So let me close simply. MBBS abroad is a great and valid pathway for thousands of students every year. Georgia, Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan and others have compliant universities and successful graduates. But this one rule, the licensing at par with the local citizens, is the detail that separates a safe degree from an expensive mistake. Don't choose a country on fees alone. Choose it on what the degree legally lets you do. I have made detailed videos on the full FMGL 2021 regulations and the safety steps before choosing any university. Watch those next. And if this cleared up something no agent told you or no consultant told you, share it with one family who's about to make this decision right now. Study anywhere you like, but study with your eyes open. All the best. Jai Hind.